Today I'm just going to be changing the oil on my GS500. 10mm socket just for the oil filter cover at the front of the engine. 17mm socket for the sump plug. Just got a little extension arm for my ratchet, just so I could get to the oil filter cover, and trusty ratchet as well from everybody's favourite orange automotive car parts store. In the box is a canister where I'm going to put all my old oil. I've got a drip tray to go underneath the bike to catch all the oil, and just a high flow air filter, oil filter to replace the old one. Also got some nice new oil to put in the bike. So now I've got the drip tray under the bike. Just gonna show you under there is your sump plug. So that's a bolt that you need to undo, 17mm bolt. This is your oil filter cover. You've got a little nut here, 10mm. There's one here and one here, which all need to be undone as well. But we're going to do the sump plug first. The oil flowing out. Just make sure that you can see that. And we want to be rotating our ratchet counterclockwise. I got it? We have. Sick. So this is going to come out all thick and probably black as well. Slowly, slowly. Plop. There we go. Lush. Plenty of oil. And we're just going to let that drain for a little while. Whilst that is draining, I am going to go and put the kettle on. Okay, so the oil is pretty much finished draining. I probably should have done this a little bit earlier, but I wanted a cup of tea. But now I'm going to try and take off the oil filter cover, which is 3 10mm nuts, which need to be undid. So again, ratchet counterclockwise. And I'm not going to take them all the way off because this cover is under a little bit of tension because there's actually a spring behind it. Two. You can see that the cover's cracked, there's oil coming out from it. Yeah, you can see that. I'll just finish these off by hand. Just push the cover back to the engine just to release any tension against the nuts. First one out. Second one out. Oh, that was a big blob. Third one off. There we go. And here's the rest of the oil. Oh, missed the edge of the tray. Lovely job. Nicely done. Ugh. Messy old job this. Great fun. What I would recommend is that you put something over your exhaust manifold just to stop the oil from dripping over onto it, but I forgot, and what's done is done now. Also, I think it's worth mentioning the fact that I hadn't run my engine in about 3 days, so as much of the oil as possible should be in the bottom of the engine rather than floating around up in the top. Pull that back a little bit. Yeah, look at that. There's your old oil filter. We'll get rid of that later. Awesome. So while that's doing that, just gonna open it. So we've got this can, which can be used as a drip tray as well, because it's recessed. You put that under the bike, pop the sump out, take this little red plug out. There's a hole there, and it'll just drain straight into the can. Obviously, you'll need to put this little lid on, but what I like to use it for is just to empty the drip tray into. It should hold about 6 litres of oil, which is about 2 oil changes. And then once that's full, I just take it down to the tip, down to my local recycling centre, and let them dispose of it. We got the oil filter. So you saw the black crumpled oil filter that I took out. That's what it looked like when it went in. And we get a little packet with rubber gaskets. There are 2 inside of the oil filter cover. So when we replace the oil filter cover, we'll replace the gasket as well. Mobile 10 weight 40 4-stroke engine oil. Should work lovely in ye olde motorcycle. Okay, so we're set up over on my little workbench, and here is the oil filter cover. Spring is still in, so we'll just pop that out. You see this black line just around the outside is actually the gasket. It's still full of oil, so we use a little bit of blue roll to tidy it up a little bit. I'm going to need a little precision screwdriver by here, I think, just to pick that old gasket out. One should work. Oh, bye spring. Ever wish you had a third hand? Oh, damn it, I just poked it back in. Poke it back in, you clown. The 2 gaskets. Wow, what kind of plastic is that? That's outrageous. So we've got this one, which fits perfectly. And we've got this one. Don't even know what shape that is. A face. But we don't need that one. We can just discard of that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lubricate this a little bit with some oil, just to help stick it inside the cover. Just using my thumb, push it round. It's just lubricating it. You see how nice and shiny it is now. And I'm just going to line it up. It doesn't clip in or anything, it just sits in the gap. A little bit at a time. Okay, lovely. And that should do for now. That should help later on when we come to fit the cover back in. It'll stop in theory, it'll stop the gasket from just falling out onto the ground, or getting pinched, because if you pinch the gasket, then you're probably going to end up with a leak, which we kind of want to avoid at this stage. I'm going to actually say quickly, if you're planning on doing home maintenance, that sort of thing, Haynes manual, it's been incredible for me. That and a lot of YouTube videos as well. For the GS500, there was a channel done by Baltimore GS, and his resources for me were just invaluable. The amount of things that I did on my own because of his videos, just unbelievable. So I'm gonna just pop that back in right now. So then when I put the oil in the other side of the engine, in through its in place, it doesn't just fall out the bottom, because that would be ridiculous. Also, you can, I don't know if you can see that, I've started to gnarl that up pretty nasty. I will get a new one of those, I think, replace that at a later date. Okay, so some plug is in, tightened up. So I brought my oil filter and things over in a box just to keep them clean. Don't know if you can see in the centre, it's actually a little spout with the filter. The spout goes in that little hole. Okay, so the filter will go in this way around. So let's just pop that back in. And it just pops on. There you go, oil filter in. Our next job is take the spring, center it on that little lip, just pop it on. There we are. So that's that done as well. And then it doesn't really matter which way up we go with the cover, but we just need to make sure that the nuts, or those little studs, go through the cover holes. Just do a quick tighten job on those. Don't need to over tighten these kinds of things, guys, because especially with these are quite notorious for stripping, snapping off in the engine housing, and it's an absolute nightmare to rectify. Whoops, missed. Just about there. Let's check that one last time. Lovely job. Okay, so that's the cover back on. The sump is done up. So now let's go around the other side and have a look at putting the oil in. So now we're on the right hand side of the bike. We're going to take out the dipstick. It's already loose from earlier on. I'm going to take my already opened bottle of oil from earlier on. And this whole bottle is going in the bike. Just have a quick check under the bike. It's not currently pouring out, so we seem to have done something alright. There we are. Stick don't want to go back in. Okay. Next job then is just to measure the oil.